Yeah. Well, talk a little bit about your thoughts about, and I like calling him Wyndham Rotunda, his real name too, because, we think about the character, but there's a person behind it too.
Mhm.
Your thoughts on him and his career and, just how much he's going to be missed in the wrestling community.
Yeah, I remember when Bray first came on to the main roster. I wasn't really watching NXT a lot, and I saw him come out with the Wyatt family in the rocking chair with the Hawaiian shirt, and had this real Charles Manson kind of vibe to him. I think is what he was going for. Having like the family with him, and I thought it was cool. And then it only grew, and he only progressed. I think the best run of his career was when he went off for a little while and came back with the Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse. I just thought that that was so creative. And to me, it embodied what pro wrestling is. Mixing this super creative, fantastical elements of pro wrestling, which is what he did, with great storytelling, with great promo ability, knowing how to play both sides of a character. Yeah, he was just a mega talent, man. And the thing is, I know that as his career went on, sometimes like, okay, what do we do with Bray next? What do we do with Bray next? What do we do with Bray next? I still think the next great Bray Wyatt idea or creative moment was still to come. We hadn't seen him peak yet. That's how creative of a force that guy was. And so, as far as a wrestling fan goes, yeah, we're gonna obviously miss him. There's gonna be a big void in the industry because of his loss.
Yeah, and it's very sad. And one of the most creative guys I think we've ever seen in the industry for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was fascinating. Sometimes hit, sometimes miss, but putting yourself out there like that to come up with such wild ideas and trying to bring them across in something like pro wrestling was pretty amazing. And I think the other point that I mentioned this with Dave earlier is just how entwined in the pro wrestling community he was, being in the family he was from. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody knew him from the time he was a little kid. And, I can only imagine what's going through everybody's mind, not just the contemporaries, but the people that, were in that older generation seeing him pass away like this. It's just got to be tearing everybody apart right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, great wrestling family. Barry Windham and Bo Dallas and Erwin or Shyster, a favorite of mine. IRS. Yeah, I can only imagine what they're going through and what the whole industry is going through. Like Booker said on the show, and I agree with the sentiment. Wrestling's a big fraternity, and when one of us goes through it, we all go through it. And everybody's hurting right now. But you're right. Bray would take big swings, man, huge swings, and like the Firefly Funhouse match that he had with Cena. It's one of the most creative things I've ever seen. I cannot tell you to this day that I fully understand it. But
Right.
I mean, seriously, I don't know if I understand it, but I know that it was creative, and I know that it was a risk and a chance. And kudos to a guy like Cena and for all the production at the time for trusting the creative vision of one person. That tells you how much faith they had in Bray Wyatt. That they were going to give a John Cena WrestleMania match. They're going to give him complete creative license to do something. And that was during COVID when everybody was watching. It's probably
Right.
one of the most watched WrestleManias maybe ever, just because it was the only thing on. And yeah, that Firefly Funhouse match is gonna be something I definitely always remember when you say his name.
Now the one that I always am going to remember though is the regular match that he had with Cena at WrestleMania, where Cena was about
Right.
ready to hit him with the chair, and Cena stopped, and I was really heartbroken that Bray didn't win that match. That's one of those to me that goes in the category of the wrong person won. It would have been an interesting way to, see how they handled John Cena after that. But, I was a little heartbroken over that because I really loved, the swamp guy. That was
I
my,
loved it
that
too.
was, that was my favorite. I always dug that character.
But when you think about Bray at WrestleMania, and this is just coming off the top of my head, so I'm gonna forget some, but just kind of in sequence, he got to wrestle John Cena. The next year, The Undertaker. The next year, in front of 101,000 or whatever it was in Texas Stadium or AT&T Stadium, he has a one-on-one with The Rock, a moment with The Rock, and then he moves on to have matches with Randy Orton as the WWE champion. I mean, he got to face the top people in the industry for his WrestleMania career.
Yeah. Unbelievable career and cut way short.